Respect the place that you call home. Respect the land in which you roam. Respect the country you were born. Let's take it back. Respect reform. Hold on to freedom, hold on to hope. Don't give them slack, don't give them rope. Don't walk and hang your head in shame. Be proud, stand tall, and we will reign.
Welcome, everybody. We're streaming live from Exeter, where we're bringing you our podcast, A Conversation with Neil Stevens. Now, Neil is a host of the show, and tonight we've got a great topic again and bringing you some very interesting characters, very interesting guests. One is just returning back to the fold after an absence, and welcome him back. Thanks so much. So my name is Rob Sheridan, and I'm Neil's second banana. I don't know what you call me. I'm his political companion and the guy that laughs at all of his jokes. And on our podcast, we focus on local issues. So if you're tuning in to see what Starmer or Burnham or whoever they are on TV, you reach the wrong place. We are focusing on local issues, okay? So Neil has 3 counselors on tonight and a very interesting guest. So first of all, here is his brother, Tony.
Oh, hello.
Hey, Tony, what do you do? What do you represent?
Well, I'll tell you this again. I represent St Thomas Nexwick.
My hat's off to you, Tony. And who's this man? I haven't seen him in a while.
Good evening, everyone. Nat Vanstone, Broadclist area, and I'm back.
Thank you very much, Nat. Jax, coming back. Introduce yourself and where you represent, please.
Yeah, sure. I'm sharing a mic with Nat, so he forgot to pass it over to me. That's a good start. I'm Jacqueline Fry, and I represent Newton Abbot North.
Okay, I'm going to let Neil introduce our guest tonight. So without further ado, here's Neil Stevens.
He likes that American stuff, doesn't he? Okay, so we brought this lady on a few months ago, must be 5-6 weeks ago, regarding Torbay Hospital. We invited Susie Colley back because she's got more to tell. So really the show is mainly around her, or it's all around her once we've done our bit. So she's got a lot to talk about. Susie, thanks ever so much for coming back on. I've sat there and listened to you more than once now, and I'm looking forward to tonight.
Thank you very much.
She's going to be open and honest. What I will stress, this is nothing to do with politics. It's not political. She is neutral. We're not neutral, but tonight it's all neutral, and that's why you accept to come on here. And I'm looking forward to it. So thank you ever so much.
Thank you very much indeed for having me again. Great to be here.
That's great, Neil. And tell us again what the topic is, please, tonight. And
Okay.
when you got a minute, give me the memory stick, okay, sir?
It's all about Torbay Hospital. Okay, and I've got to get the memory stick. So if we go on to the next one.
Maybe James knows where the memory stick is because I don't have the I don't have any of the slides actually on.
Oh,
this
that's very
computer,
good of you.
yeah?
Well, Susie,
So,
if you do a
we
little
got
bit of an
hiccup already.
introduction.
Yeah.
If
Thanks. No, I
Susie
need
does a little bit of an
I need a soft
introduction, Rob, and I'll
Okay.
get the memory stick.
Okay, Susie, over to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks
Just a
very
little
much
intro.
indeed. Well, all this started about 14, 16 months ago when the ICB, the Integrated Care Board, which is part of the NHS, decided it would be a splendid idea to try and close the cardiac department at Torbay Hospital at the weekends. And they were going to do a trial 8-week for closing it at the weekends from Friday to Monday, close it at 5 o'clock, open it again on Monday. So anybody who had a heart attack would have to either go to Exeter or Plymouth, which is clearly not a very good idea because we all know that we have little things in the way of getting to Exeter called Telegraph Hill or coming the other way, Holden Hill. And if you're having a heart attack, time is of the essence. So by the time you get to Exeter, you can't sugarcoat this pill, you'd be dead.
Okay.
So we managed to get the ICB to pause that. They didn't get rid of it. They integrated it or embedded it into their One Devon plan for healthcare. And as I've said to 110,000 people, I think, since this all started, the ICB, or the Integrated Care Board, are very careful how they word things. And it's like trying to pin a blancmange to the wall. They don't say, we are going to do such and such in a few weeks' time, or we're going to do it in a few years' time. They say there are no plans in place at this moment in time. Well, as I've said again to lots of people, I've no idea what I'm going to have for my supper now, but by the time I hit the road back to Torquay, I will have an idea. So the ICB think they're being very clever, but we took a leaf out of Huddersfield Royal Infirmary about 3-5 years ago. The ICB, Integrated Care Board, tried to do exactly what they're doing to Torbay Hospital. They tried to do it to Huddersfield Royal Infirmary. And they all stood up on their hind legs and said, no way, you're not touching our hospital. And they fought and fought and fought. And I hope that Torbay catchment area are going to take a leaf out of their book. And eventually they ended up in the High Court. So if Torbay Hospital want to end up in the High Court, that is the way they're going.
Okay, thank you very much, Susie.
Okay.
Now we've got some councillor updates. I
No,
think,
let's
next,
go
or-
back to, so what are we talking
oh my
about?
gosh, wait a second.
We go back to the slide we're saving,
No, we
talking
gotta do
about
Tony's,
Torbay
Tony's
Hospital
intro, eh?
and what's really happening.
Oh, my intro can wait. I'm.
Okay, next slide. Your voice matters.
Okay, there you go, Tony.
Oh, is it? All right, here we go then. I've been practicing this, so this should be good. Your voice matters, so let's have a conversation. You can see us on Facebook, so join us live. WhatsApp on 07355 429 205. On YouTube, which you can subscribe to. Message and comment anything you want to say, as long as it's not rude. Or you can sort of email neil.stevens@devon.gov.uk and tell him any issues you've got.
Tony, you're flipping awesome, okay? Now, let's take a little revisit back to this topic, Neil, just very briefly, if you could, sir.
Yeah, so we were approached by Jacqueline Fry, and then we met Susie, and it's all about Torbay Hospital and what's really happening. But go emphasise what Tony is saying. I've got the laptop here, I've got my phone here. Any questions you want to ask, these questions is all about you guys. Get these questions in. We can talk to Susie. She's straight, honest and open. But what we're going to do is we're going to discuss about local councillor updates first, and then the main meat of the show is all about the hospital and you, Susie.
Okay.
And Anthony, good to see you. Bravo Fox, good to see you on. Lois, I said I'll give a shout to you, and I look forward to meeting you tomorrow. Okay, local updates.
Okay, Tony, would you
Oh,
like to
right,
kick
you're
it
going
off,
to pick on me
please?
first. Well,
Yeah.
I'll quick say hello to Marion, by the way, next week. Thanks for listening. One of the updates I want to talk about is weeds, of course. We've been talking about this for quite a while. Devon County Council are trialling down in our area for 4 days. I think it's a road sweeper machine with a special attachment too that seems to rip those weeds out. If it's successful, we're hoping it'll go around the city a bit, get those weeds done, because it means you won't be using glyphosate, which will keep a certain population happy, and it should start clearing those weeds, which, as we know, are becoming quite bad at the moment. Over to you, Neil.
No, Jacqueline.
Oh, Jacqueline.
Now, sadly, I haven't put you on. My apologies. I write this late at night, and I did crash and burn, and then I had to readjust it. But my apologies. Your beautiful face is not on here. Let's give us an update.
Oh well, I'm really excited to say that I've just recently been added to the Adult Health and Scrutiny Committee, which is a big interest of mine, and I'm looking into the funding, because the council's introduced a new funding model for the residential care homes, and I'm finding a lot of things out that are really worrying me at the moment. So, but I will come back and maybe tell you another time. But there's lots of concerning things for our elderly population that is needing to go into residential care. The way the council's changed the funding, the new funding model. Let's just say I don't think the residential care homes that I've been speaking to, I don't think it's working that well for them, and they're now they're telling me that they may actually go and only take private residential care people, so residents that can pay privately. So that leaves the poor people that can't fund themselves, that need the help. That puts them in a really awkward position because we won't have the care homes. We won't have the care homes available.
Is that because the council won't pay the money or not paying enough?
Well, they've changed the actual model. So where residential care homes used to work out the funding on hours. So, for example, Mr. Smith takes 68 hours of care per week. Then they would put that into the council, and that is the funding that they would get. Now the funding model's totally changed, so that you have to fit into categories of residential 1, 2 or 3, or you've got a bespoke category for anything more than the level 3. But there's such a big, in these different residential 1, 2, 3, you could be a 2, possibly 3, and it's down to the social worker to decide which you fit into. And the residential care homes are telling me that they've got a lot of, it's not working for them. They've got a lot of bespoke clients, people that maybe have Parkinson's disease that need 11 injections a day at set times. And so that takes them into the bespoke. But unfortunately, it looks as if the council aren't quick enough sorting out the bespoke funding for the care homes. So it's literally costing the care homes to keep these people in their residential homes. And they are now saying that if this carries on and the council cannot speed this process up, they will end up only taking private residential people in. So it's a big concern.
Well, it is really when you think, these people have got to be looked after.
I mean, you've got a lot of people with serious health issues, Parkinson's, dementia, and dementia is it's increasing in this area. So we've got to look after people.
I think we can do a whole program on this as
We
well, a show
could,
on this.
yeah.
So I'll talk to you after. Nat.
And look how quickly that mic moved. That was amazing.
That was
Yeah, it's like
really
magic. So yeah, obviously, guys, I've been away for a couple of three weeks. My mum's been poorly, so been taking care of her. But along with the council work, still doing my emails like we always do, all of us daily. I had some sad news last week. We've all got NHOs in our areas, and I had a meeting with mine last week who'd been with us for 6-8 months. Now he's being taken away from me. We built up a great relationship and understood our area, and he thanked me for helping him. But he's moving, so we're going to go back to square one again and have to start with somebody else, right? So it's frustrating because you work hard with somebody.
You better say what an NHO is, because it's
A neighbourhood highways officer.
Right.
And they don't think there'll be one to replace him for a few weeks yet. So there goes a crossover point with so much work we've worked on, and I've offered to meet the new one if there's one appointed before he moves. I don't know if all you guys know, but there was a 4 million pot for road repairs in Devon, and there's a lot of roads marked out, and thank you, Ricky, you've done a grand job there in my area. It'll just be nice now to see some of them filled in before the marks wear off the roads. The other thing I'm going to dig into is the Environment Agency. I know they're busy at the moment saving fish and this, that and the other, but we have flooding infrastructure in some of my area that needs repairs. Ricky again has been on their case, and I'm going to take that on now and get on their case as well, because if there's infrastructure there that stops people or helps people's houses to not flood through the winter while it's dry, it'd be a good time to get at them and fix them. So that's one thing, or two things. I don't know if anybody knows, there's 2,000 homes proposed near West Point in Exeter. That's a scary thought. So I'm going to find out a bit more about that for everyone. Traffic signs, cones, whoever they belong to, can we please get them picked up? They're growing into verges. It's a waste of money, and ultimately it comes out of your guys' pockets through your taxes, because these guys are contracted to Devon County Council. And without going on and on and on, because I've not been here for 3 or 4 weeks, I'll leave some for next week.
I will quickly add that we do all work very closely with our local highways officers.
Yeah.
They're a godsend, and
They
I
are.
feel for you for losing yours, because you've got to start that relationship again.
Do you know what? He is a great man, and I couldn't have asked for a better NHO. I really couldn't.
We'd be lost without ours.
And the mic's going over to Jax now.
Oh, I love all this sharing. I had an amazing highways officer when I first got elected last year. Built up a wonderful relationship with him. I knew that I could just pick up the phone if I'd got a problem. He would happily come and meet me. He'd explain stuff to me if I didn't understand, if it was technical. I'm not an engineer. I need to be able to transfer that information across to my residents. Sadly, he was taken away from me and put in another area. And I've now been given a new officer who, the day she was supposed to start, where I was hoping to contact her and say, right, let's meet up, let's build a relationship. She went off sick. When she come back, I managed to have an appointment with her. It's really hard to get hold of her, but I have got some good news. I met with one of the top highways people at DCC today, and he is going to look into that and ensure that I can get better communication with my highways officer. So it went from really good to bad to hopefully I'll get some improvement now. So my area in Newton Abbot has an awful lot of highways problems, and I want to make sure that I can address them.
Well done, Jax. Hey, Nat, did you want to slide that mic over?
Yeah, just in that, in relation to this, doesn't it seem balmy that you would move somebody that that does so well in the area? Yeah, and learn quite a big area with quite a few issues, and to take them away for then that process to start all over again, it really isn't efficient. And ultimately, then you end up going through the same old stuff. Things get forgotten, like as I've heard from my parish councils in the past, that they've had this NHO and then off sick or moved on, and then it takes time to get another one. You need regularity and consistency to work well as a team.
And you need an officer who actually knows the roads, because my old officer knew where I was talking about. This new officer doesn't seem to be that aware of the area that she's been put in. So I'm really hoping to get some improvement now, because I've been kind of dumped in the deep end with an awful lot of problems with highways. I'm going out visiting residents all the time to try and sort problems out for them. And I need that backup from the officers. They're the ones that are running the show. They're the ones that are making the decisions. So I need somebody that I can get the answers from.
Maybe
Neil,
we were getting on too well with them, Jax. That's my theory.
Probably so.
No, he was too young.
Well,
Not like that.
Neil has
Yeah,
his
so
hand
what
up.
we do, there's some questions come up in a minute, but
Thank
Bex,
you.
good to see you coming on. Nathan, good. Ian,
Yeah, good
Ian,
to see
I'm
you, Bex.
going to invite you soon on the show. We're going to chat offline. A couple of things, more LGR updates. This is the more I listen, the more I learn, the more it rings bells. Phil, thank you for your time. Michael, Fife Cook, and myself spent with Phil Barlick 2.5 hours yesterday. He was selling about the LGR. Obviously, he's selling it because he runs Exeter City Council. Loads of questions asked. Very respectable conversation over a cup of coffee. But I'm learning all the time. And to me, it's all about money. I did a discipline with Michael. Michael was being brought into Devon County Council for a discipline issue. I won't go down that road, but it's 3 words and a lot of money wasted over 3 words. Anybody wants to do that, I'll do a private message. Dryden Road. Now, my confusion on Dryden Road is I thought the motion went in to get Dryden Road open ASAP.
Well, it did, didn't it?
It's how you interpret it, that motion. Now, my interpretation was it gets opened and any safety issues will come along secondly. What they are now, in my view, is it's getting dragged out. But we're going to get an explanation on Dryden Road in the next few weeks. But my biggest thing is my NHO, Roger. Fantastic. He works with Tony and I this side of the river. If you notice, there's a little bit political here, so bear with me, Susie. The local MP has gone out. He's doing a webpage about weeds. Well, hang on. Boys, girls, we've been doing this since we've been a councillor. We've put a motion in. Another motion is going in next month, September, trying to find the budget. Right, that's all in process. But I did reach out to Steve yesterday. You managed to find 20 million for Whipton and all that. Give us some money for the weeds in Exeter. But Roger, mechanical, if you see my webpage today or my Facebook page, we had a mechanical digger out, Tony and I went round and met the guys. They're starting to clear the roads in this area. So that's working with Devon County Council, NHO. What are you going to say, Robert?
Well, I'll just add to that a little bit. All you want, I think, is the money back that they took from you, right? Because no money's being spent, virtually none, on weeds at all. So as compared to 10 years ago, there was a big workforce, right? So you just want the money back. That's all, right?
Well, sorry, just to explain, 2019, City Council decided not to use glyphosate. 2023, Devon County Council decided not to fund it because they were paying, but there was no backup plan. On the freedom of information, which they're still going to supply to me, is there was no backup plan. So one of my posts was, let the weeds grow, baby, grow. But now it's going to come and bite us in the bum.
Yeah, and I echo that, Neil. I hate Facebook. Anyway, but Steve Race put something on Facebook, so I mentioned that it was actually a unanimous cross-party agreement to ban the chemical, or not use, or at least to minimize the use of the chemical. And that was not only by the Devon County Council, but by the Exeter City Council. So shame on them. We want the money back. The mechanical machinery is a lot more expensive, but I guess that's the only option now.
Well, basically, it's a road sweeper, which has got like a
rotary brush.
Right, I think we've had enough of updates.
Yeah.
We've got questions coming in. I'm going to come back to Nathan's question about running for reform. Love it. Ian, I'll come back to you. Paul, Callan, talk to you. Right, yeah, come back to you. So we're going to spend 5-10 minutes at the end. But for a minute, it is all about why are people concerned about Torbay Hospital. And I'm going to hand it over to you, Susie. And the next slides say, if you go through the slides, Rob.
Yes, sir.
It's all about why are people concerned. And hand it over to you, Susie. So why are people concerned?
Thank you, Neil. Well, we moved on from the issue regarding the cardiac department. We managed to get that suspended. The idea that the ICB had got about closing that for a trial period. So that got suspended. But then people started contacting me and they didn't want their names used. And at that time, I had about one or two, I'll call them whistleblowers or moles. That was way back last year. I have now got 16 people, professional people at Torbay Hospital. Now, if there's one person in an organisation who's not happy and who moans and complains and whatever, you think, okay, they're having a bad day. But 16 professional people, that is an indicator of how toxic and how unpleasant the atmosphere is in Torbay Hospital.
So you say 16 whistleblowers. What are they whistleblowing about? I mean, what is the main thing they are unhappy with? Is it more than one subject? Or what?
Oh, absolutely. 6 of those are consultants. One of the main issues is, as you may have seen in the papers, about Gadian House. Now, Gadian House is a property in Pines Hill in Exeter, which belongs to Torbay Council. They bought it in, I think it was 2019, as part of their investment portfolio. Fine, whatever they did then, that's absolutely fine, if it's going to make them money. Apparently, at the time, their tenant was EDF, and they were paying their rent and everything was fine. But then, God forbid, we all had to go through COVID. And we all know that everybody then decided to work from home or whatever. So at that point, allegedly, Torbay Council lost their tenant at Gadian House. Now, I don't know whether the Royal Devon and Exeter approached Torbay Council or Torbay Council approached the Royal Devon and Exeter just recently, well, about 5 or 6 months ago, and asked if they would like to be a tenant at Gadian House. And you're probably all scratching your head and thinking, what the hell is this woman talking about? Because Gadian House is at the moment an office block. Torbay Council are using 7.5 million, yes, million, of ratepayers' money to kit out Gadian House to be a pathology laboratory. We've got a laboratory, a pathology laboratory at Torbay Council. Yes, it's possibly past its sell-by date. It needs refurbishing. But Gadian House is 23 miles away from Torbay Hospital. So Torbay Council have got RD&E, the Royal Devon and Exeter, as a tenant. Torbay Council are paying to kit out Gadian House for a pathology laboratory for the RD&E. And then allegedly they are moving the pathology department from Torbay Hospital up to Exeter. This makes no sense. No sense whatever, because you're going to have 2 sets of staff. So when the staff go from Torbay Hospital up to Exeter, I've got it on fairly good authority that there'll be too many staff, so they may very well lose their jobs. That's number one, so that everybody's very worried about that. Number 2 is the fact that if you move the pathology department from Torbay Hospital to Exeter, what happens if you, God forbid, you have to go into Torbay Hospital with possible sepsis? If you have sepsis, you need minutes to be diagnosed. So if there's not a pathology department on site to say what microorganism needs to be treated, guess what? You're going to be dead. Allegedly, Torbay Hospital say they are going to have a basic staff at Torbay Hospital to do these sort of tests. Well, if that's the case, why are they moving the pathology department? If they're going to have a skeleton staff, where are they going to be working out of? If the department is not fit for purpose, why are they moving everybody up to Exeter? Why don't they build another laboratory on Torbay Hospital area? Because they've just bought a whole area to be a car park. Why don't they put a porta cabin on that? And why don't they use that as our pathology department?
I think if it's Torbay's money, I think it should be spent in Torbay. Why take Torbay paying money
Absolutely
out
right.
of the area up to Exeter? Spend Torbay money at Torbay Hospital
Absolutely.
instead of downgrading, moving stuff quietly, slowly downgrading the hospital. We should be spending the money on our hospital so that it's there for our acute services when people need it.
Yeah, here. Neil?
Yeah, so you started the campaign, I think, about 15 months ago?
About that time, yes.
And how many people were involved in your campaign?
Hundreds of thousands now, because we've got 7.7 thousand followers on the Facebook page, which is the Heart Campaign. But just recently, we have now morphed or evolved into Save Torbay Hospital, because now it's not just about the cardiac department, it is about the pathology department. It is about the fact that they've now adopted Epic, so all the records department, that's possibly going to Exeter as well. And the oromaxial, that's facial surgery, that's possibly moving up to Torbay, up to Exeter as well. Now the problem is, everything is it's like smoke and mirrors. There's nothing I can't point to a document and say on such and such a day this department is moving. The ICB work in very sort of strange ways. It's like trying to pin a blancmange to the wall. Nothing is definitive. They're always saying, oh, there are no plans in place at this time. But they don't say if there is a plan to move X, Y, and Z. But why would 16 professional people be worried about what's going on in the hospital if there wasn't truth behind what is going on?
Thank you, Susie. Nat, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, just a question to Susie. So in regards to the upset that these consultants are are sort of going through.
Yep.
How does that affect the rest of the workings of the hospital then? Because I had a friend of mine come to me not very long ago that was referred to Torbay Hospital for MRIs.
Yep.
And 3-4 weeks down the line, and hours on the phone trying to find out or speak to the consultant, no test results has been forwarded to her doctor or come back. So does this affect the workings of the whole hospital, all this uncertainty?
Absolutely, would have to be, because at the end of the day, especially if they move the pathology department up to Exeter, for example, if somebody's unfortunate enough to go into hospital to have a lump removed, if that lump at the moment, if that lump is removed in theatre, we have either a runner, either a technician or a nurse that literally takes that lump in a kidney dish down the corridor to the pathology department, where it's looked at under the microscope, and then a message goes back to theatre to say whether that lump is encapsulated or whether it is spread. And then the surgeon either makes a decision to excise more, or everything's fine, it's all encapsulated, sew the patient up, send them home. So those operations would no longer be able to take place in Torbay. They'd have to join the waiting list for either Exeter or Plymouth. So that has an impact on the waiting list, and that has an impact on all the tests that are going on or trying to go on in Torbay Hospital.
Thank you very much, Susie.
Sorry.
Jax, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I just want to say, so Susie mentioned earlier that there was a hospital in Huddersfield and a campaign, and the campaigners raised enough money and took the IBC to court.
Yep.
And they won, and the hospital remained, so they saved the hospital. So this campaign, which started out as the Heart Campaign, which is now Save Torbay Hospital Campaign, this is now, because what Susie will go into with the questions that she's asked, the freedom of information and the answers that she's got, Susie's now set up separate hubs in different areas and ambassadors. So I've, as well as all the other work I'm doing, I'm now an ambassador for Susie for the campaign for Newton Abbot. But we've got lots of ambassadors in lots of different areas, and we are going to raise the money. And I believe, Susie, a letter has already been sent from the solicitor, so we've already started that process.
Absolutely. We're using the same solicitors that helped Huddersfield Royal Infirmary. We got hold of them about 9 months ago. They agreed to work with us, and the first letter from them went to the CEO of Torbay Hospital, asking 21 questions, very pertinent questions about Gadian House, about the timings of samples that had to go to Exeter, were the staff going to be moved, etc., etc. Loads of, 21 questions. They received a response last Friday. They have to say they didn't receive a reply. So the case has now gone in front of the barrister whether or not we now move to a judicial review, because I was asked earlier in this interview whether or not this is having an effect on what's going on with the rest of the hospital. Yes, it is. And unfortunately, I've heard only today yet another case of bullying of staff, because they are talking about the Heart Campaign. I went to an inverted commas a disciplinary with a consultant up in Exeter about 6 weeks ago. And as soon as I challenged the HR department from the RD&E that this consultant was allegedly had breached her social media contract, as soon as I challenged it, I was told if I carried on with that sort of conversation, she would be reported to the GMC. Well, where's the freedom of speech gone? I mean, this is just bullying on another level. All these people, we rely on these people when we are ill, and they are being treated appallingly.
Yeah, totally agree, Susie.
We cannot afford to lose Torbay Hospital, because the catchment area that is looked after by Torbay Hospital is over 200,000 people in the winter and 400,000 people in the summer. So those who've made these stupid decisions up in Whitehall, I suggest they come down here and see what they are trying to do. Centralisation is all very well in big cities, but it certainly doesn't work down in the rural conurbations.
Here. Tony, do you have
Well, I was
something
going to
say
ask,
that?
when was the moment you realised that something significant was happening?
Over a year ago.
That long ago?
Absolutely, because as a cardiothoracic ex-cardiothoracic theatre sister, I could see that they just weren't taking any notice of the fact that how could you possibly close a cardiac department over a weekend? It makes no sense, because time is life. Because if you don't get to hospital within an hour of having a heart attack, you're dead. But they don't seem to care up in London. They don't seem to care in the ICB. And this is exactly what they did to Huddersfield. So Huddersfield had to go to law, so we will go to law.
If it was to close, then, were they going to just repurpose the areas that these spaces occupy for something else? Or is it just going to be left vacant?
No, from my understanding, it's going to be a daycare. So you go in to have your, daycare issues.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, how's that going to help with things like cardiac issues, oromaxillofacial issues? If you have a very bad car accident and your face is all mashed up, you've got to get...
Well, this is where money shouldn't come into it.
Exactly.
So let's go back. What is changing? I think, Nat, you had a question to ask.
Yeah, can I...
How about your mic there, sir?
This is too many things going on at once here. Susie, sorry. Sorry, another question. Can you explain exactly what changes are being considered going forward?
The cardiac department, for a start, because the cath labs at Torbay Hospital, they need replacing. Well, I keep on asking the CEO of Torbay Hospital, have the bits that need replacing, have they been done? Answer on a postcard, please. Allegedly, they are going to be done within the budget. Well, they haven't been done yet, so they're going to wait for them to completely collapse. So that department possibly will be moved up to Exeter. Well, at the moment, Torbay Hospital is 4th best in the country for coronary perfusion. Exeter are 48th best in the country. So why move that?
I know where I'd rather go at the moment.
Well, precisely. Oromaxial, histopathology, all the laboratories are possibly going to move. But I cannot point to a paper and say, ICB have written on this paper, on such and such a day, this department is going to move. They are doing exactly what they did to Huddersfield. Everything is smoke and mirrors and done behind closed doors and under the carpet. It's just dishonest.
And I'm guessing the financial side of it across the board is just off the scale.
Absolutely. I've got here the response to one of my FOIs, which I sent several weeks ago, because believe it or not, and I have it here in black and white. I asked the question of the expenditure for the NHS in the Devon catchment or Torbay catchment area is 102 million from last March to this March.
What they've spent.
They won't answer. They say that they don't hold that information. NHS Devon don't hold that information. Well, who does?
So you asked quite a lot of questions, and am I correct? They came back with the same answer?
Yeah.
They don't hold that information.
It basically beggars belief. It's here in black and white. Now, asked, and you can see all the answers I haven't got. Now, we did that simply because it's a track record, so our barrister won't charge us so much money, because all he's got to do, look at the FOI trackers. But they are doing exactly what they did to Huddersfield. They are doing everything behind closed doors.
Since your campaign started, have you had any effect? Are they listening, or are you still going on? I mean, what if you honestly say you've started this 15 months? I can see the passion and all the people following you. Well done for supporting. Everybody's supporting. This lady needs more support. Her team needs. But have you had an effect since this? Has anything changed?
Yes, we got the cardiac situation. That was suspended or postponed or whatever you want to do. It wasn't put to one side completely, but that was postponed, which makes me think that the ICB, the NHS are listening, and they need to listen a little harder, Because if they keep on the way they're going, as I've said, we will take them to the High Court for a judicial review, because they can't keep on doing this sort of thing. Because the NHS Act 2006-2007, superseded by the NHS Act in 2022, basically says if there is a substantial change in the provision of medical resources, there has to be a public consultation. Well, unless I've been asleep at the wheel, I haven't seen a public consultation.
All right, so I'm gonna say, why does it matter? Let's just talk about why does it matter?
People's lives, and people are going to die if they don't have acute services virtually on their doorstep. Now, I'm not going to get political on this because, as you know, this is an apolitical issue. But at the end of the day, from my understanding, the edicts coming out from London are that medical provision should be available in your area. Well, in Torbay catchment area, with the greatest respect, neither Exeter or Plymouth are in our area.
Susie,
No, I can see.
would you like to tell us why somebody that's living in Exeter or North Devon should care about this campaign?
I'd be happy to, Jax, because at the end of the day, if they don't get up on their hind legs and shout about this as well, they are going to be impacted. Exeter are impacted at the moment because all the patients from North Devon District Hospital are being shunted down to Exeter because the ICB have done exactly what they're trying to do to Torbay. They've done it to North Devon District. So all the cardiac patients and a lot of the other services are moving down to Exeter. Now, Exeter is not coping as it is. If anybody's tried to go to Exeter Hospital recently, I'm not saying it's a bad hospital. It's a good hospital, but where do you park? The waiting lists are huge. Most of the time, a lot of the cardiac patients are being sent down to Torbay. So it makes no sense to even contemplate closing Torbay Hospital acute services down, because if they can't cope with what they've got at the moment, Exeter is going to be impacted. And as we all know, you've just mentioned a few minutes ago how many houses are going to be built in your area. Well, you just look at the houses that are being built at the moment. If Exeter's not coping with their influx now, how are they going to cope with all these houses when they're full of people? And how are they going to cope when the new houses are built? There is no thought for the infrastructure that's going on. So we need people to support this campaign, to support Torbay Hospital, save Torbay Hospital. We need money to fight legally, because otherwise everybody in Devon is going to be affected.
It is a big picture, isn't it?
It's
one
huge.
big picture that
It's
doesn't
huge.
just affect Torbay, it affects the whole of Devon.
Yeah, right.
From
There's,
the way
there's
I'm reading
good
into
questions
this.
coming in here, so I'm going to put some questions. Guys, keep the questions in. I'm going to come back to some of the questions in a minute, which is not irrelevant to Torbay Hospital. But I've got here from Bravil Fox. It wouldn't be long before lives are lost. A downgraded hospital and the facilities being out of reach of those in need is a recipe for disaster. They can't turn back time after one Chandrick incident. And what's your saying on that, Susie?
Absolutely right. Because not only, I mean, the gentleman who's phoned in is absolutely right on that. But another point which has to be taken into consideration, if an ambulance has to come from Torbay to Exeter, for the rest of the shift, that ambulance has to stay in the Exeter area. So Torbay has lost an ambulance. Also, I need to point out that many years ago, Phil Keeling, who's the cardiologist who's also on the Save the Torbay campaign, he's the cardiologist who set up thrombolyzation of patients when they were having a heart attack. Now, those licenses were withdrawn when they opened up the cath labs at Torbay Hospital. It's quite 10, 15 years ago. So no longer, if you are having a heart attack, can ambulance ladies or gentlemen inject you with a thrombolyzation injection, which is usually heparin, to get rid of the clot if they can, which is impeding the blood getting to your heart. So the gentleman who phoned in say lives are lost. Lives will be lost, because we can't have thrombolyzation if we're on the way to Exeter. We're going to be dead. And if there isn't a hospital at Torbay and they they can't take us in there if we're having a heart attack, we're also going to be dead. So I hope they have consciences, whoever is behind this, the ICB, the NHS and Whitehall.
But
they need to
Susie,
grow a
this,
pair.
This affects Plymouth Hospital as well, doesn't it?
Very much so, because the catchment area of Torbay Hospital goes right down to East Prawle up to Exeter. So all those in the East Prawle area would go down to Derriford. Well, Derriford's going to have an influx of patients as well.
Thank you, Susie. This
Thank
is getting
you.
pretty
Well,
interesting.
I've got some more
Neil,
questions here.
um,
Sorry, Tony. Do you want to ask a question before I relate to some of these on here?
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
was
Tony.
quickly going to ask. It makes you wonder, because I've dealt with the ICB and I know they've got a lot of lawyers behind them. Who's actually in charge of them and who makes the decisions? And how do they work this out by saving money against cost of lives?
They don't seem to answer the questions. That's the problem. If they would answer the questions in a grown-up manner, I really wouldn't mind. But they don't seem to be able to answer any questions. Well, they don't answer the questions, full stop. And when Libby Ryan Davies, Steve Clark and Steve Moore came down to meet us over a year ago now, they were half an hour late. And when I asked politely why they were half an hour late, they got held up on Telegraph Hill. So I said, well, that's my point entirely. So why are you even contemplating doing this? Because lives will be lost, not only because of the delays of getting to Exeter, but by the very fact that Exeter won't be able to cope with us when we get
Thank you
there.
very much, Susie.
I was going to say, I've driven that road for 20 odd years and I do know how bad it is for traffic. It takes one road incident and that's it, the road
And
shuts
it's
down.
not just summer, is it? It's winter
No,
as
it's all
well.
year round.
You've got the problems all year.
Friday evenings are a nightmare. Friday evenings. is
Swing that over
guaranteed.
to you.
Friday evenings is absolutely chocker.
Yeah.
No matter
Okay.
what week of the year.
I've got a couple
Neil?
more questions. Bravo Fox. I like that name. Bravo Fox. Is it all about density of population? London get all the critical care because they have higher density. And it'll lead on to the next question. Would you say that?
Yes, I suppose it would be, because at the end of the day, the ICB are looking at the centralisation of what they're doing up in London, Birmingham, Manchester. Now, if you close two hospitals, you close a hospital in London, another hospital will take over. And I'm not saying people won't be affected; they will to a degree, but it won't have such a huge effect as it does down here. Now, centralisation down here and everything in the community does not work because of our rural conurbations. We haven't got the road structure, we haven't got the infrastructure. So centralisation of medical resources in an area like Devon does not work.
Another question, and one more from Bravo Fox. Yes, send them in, guys.
I wonder what Bravo Foxtrot stands for.
Well,
I don't know,
there
but-
is, isn't it?
Yeah, would you dare put that on the
No, I'm just
on
saying,
YouTube?
Ian, I'm going to come back to your question in a minute. I've forgotten you. I thought you would do some more questions. Right, could the LGR catchment of Exeter look good because they inherit a good standard of care service made good by Torbay? So they're grabbing it all. LGR makes them look good because they've just took all your assets. But what does concern me, and you did say this is your opinion, once they do move to that building, you reckon a lot of people will lose their jobs. Just explain that.
Well, if they are opening up a laboratory in an office block, or it's now going to be turned into a laboratory, and the Royal Devon and Exeter are going to move their staff from their pathology department into that office block, you can't tell me there'll be room for all the pathology department from Torbay Hospital. So Torbay Hospital staff, one of the questions we asked, or our solicitor asked Torbay Hospital, have they been consulted? Didn't get an answer. You know, what is the state of play if they move up to Gadian House? Well, you can't tell me that there'll be room there for two sets of laboratory staff. So some will have to go. So my idea will be, or not my idea, my feeling will be that some of the staff from Torbay Hospital will possibly lose their jobs. I can't put my hand on my heart and say it definitely will happen, but you can't have two hospitals working in one building. There won't be room for them.
Just a couple of, thank you very much, Susie. Two comments maybe. A lot of NHS trusts rationalize pathology services. I think we mentioned that last time. Undoubtedly, there are pros and cons about it, but undoubtedly, staff will change as a result of that. But my main question to you, Susie, is whether or not Torbay has, just bringing this back to basics, has got up in a public forum and shared with the public their vision for, the cath lab and the cardiac services and the hospital at large. Have they done that?
No. The first we knew about it was when the news hit the headlines in the local paper that 7.5 million of ratepayers' money was going to kit out Gadian House in Exeter. That's the first we knew about it.
Because just to add to that is, I lived, moved down to Exeter about 5 years ago, but I lived in Ascot for about 20 years, and I was went to a lot of presentations by Frimley Hospital. And they had presentations every month, and they brought on different consultants, and it was fantastic how they marketed the hospital and gave everybody the confidence that they knew what they're doing. Seems to me that's what Torbay should be doing as well, is to, get in a public forum, share their vision for the hospital and these services.
I agree. Wouldn't it be nice? But it's just dead silence.
Yeah, Neil, did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, it was just more questions. The people are loving it here. There's, I know who Bravo Fox is. Hello, Mick. Yeah, fantastic. I like that. There was...
Is Bravo Fox try to see the 16-year-old, I think? Or
a good question is...
That was a bit of a joke.
The good question is, what are
Inside joke.
The local MPs doing it? And I'm on about... There's two MPs, I would say the Exeter MP and the Torbay MP. What are they doing to support you?
Our MP in Torbay has asked questions in the House.
And what's the result on that? I mean, I can ask a question.
So can I.
All right, but have you got any answers to the question? No. So we can all ask questions.
I agree.
Nat asks me questions every day, but I mean,
I ask a lot of questions, but I don't get any answers.
Can I just get clarification quickly then? So,
yeah.
Gadian House.
Gadian,
they want to move the Torbay Path Lab there.
Yep.
Does that mean to say they want to move the Exeter Path Lab there as well?
Correct.
So they'd be off site as well.
But they're closer, aren't they? Because it's Exeter.
Still closer, but I mean, you still got to get to Gadian House. So in some ways, it affects both hospitals on the response times.
Well, again, Tony, that is the way with many NHS trusts. The old regime was they had a little path lab in every hospital, and they had a devil of a time trying to find people, to duplicate it at every site. And so they've rationalized services. For example, IT departments. You'd be amazed. They have a little IT department at Torbay. They've got a little IT department at Exeter. They've got a little they need to bring them together, and that's one of the great things the developments that NHS has. There are pros and cons with it, and they need to be careful about how they rationalize it because of the response times, like Susie said.
But with respect,
with IT,
yes,
IT, but
not with
IT
PathLab.
doesn't have anything to do with saving lives,
No.
does it?
But this is happening with pathology services NHS wide.
Yes, but at the end of the day, with the greatest respect, if you move good pathology staff from an acute hospital, if you go, let's face it, if you are admitted into Torbay Hospital, possibly with sepsis, you need minutes to be able to diagnose what drugs you need. Well, that's no good to them if the pathology department is up in Exeter. That patient is going to be dead.
Yeah. Well, again,
and
I
if
think
they
these
keep
are,
on, if they keep on downgrading all these issues, all the good staff will leave. And even if the whole thing is reversed, we're going to lose our hospital because all our staff will be gone.
Well,
and
they may be. Again, communications is essential. And
I agree.
Especially when we, the taxpayer, are funding those that work in the NHS or government at large. And that's what, reform is here to do, is to foster accountability. These people, as I mentioned, pathology services have been rationalized for many, many years. That is the way forward. But Torbay needs to state their case. They should reassure people like you and give the details so you can ask the questions.
I couldn't agree more, but it would seem that Torbay, to my knowledge, Torbay are basically doing what suits the board that they're doing. Whether or not it's going to affect the people in the catchment area, they don't seem to care.
Yeah. Neil?
Okay, still more questions. So we're quite quiet, the councillors, because it is all about Susie. Paul, really appreciate what you've done. Paul came on the show a few weeks ago. He's the man who digs deep into the accounts. I mean, he's going to come on either next week or the week after. And Paul's put it to you, Devon ICB. Would it be interesting to know that in March 26, the Devon ICB published spend was 102 million?
Yep.
Which you said.
Yep.
Next time, viewers for spending, right, if you want to find out about it, they spent in March over £25,000, right? So he's a man, reach out to Susie, I'm going to connect you up. Now, this man digs deep into books. We're not saying anything's wrong, all right, so I'm not saying that, but we just want to know where our money, the taxpayers' money's going. And what I hear about 102 million and all this, you know, it does. And Shirley Brown here, this is a good one. This was a great comment from the gentleman. I don't know which gentleman. If Torbay Hospital would only show us their plans are, what their plans are.
Here.
Mind you, the ones I saw 7 years ago, 7 years ago, many services were moving to other hospitals. You need to talk to the unions regarding this. Have you thought? I mean, I'm not a union man, so I don't really understand.
I talk to the unions virtually every week. And they're getting exactly the same answers as I'm getting. Nothing.
So it's all closed doors, all behind sneaky beaky.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of rumours and a lot of facts floating around. I mean, you're the fountain of knowledge. You've got evidence. You've asked for freedom of information. Some of it you can't prove yet. But what's going to happen next? What's your next challenge?
Well, I've asked over 50 FOIs, freedom of information, and they're all categorised on our website, and that is fodder, for want of a better word, for our solicitors stroke barristers. So at the moment, from my understanding, our solicitor has put the case in front of the barrister to see whether or not we can go for a judicial review. Because at the end of the day, if we lose the good staff that we've got at Torbay Hospital, we'll never get them back again. The hospital will downgrade to a cottage hospital. So it's just not acceptable.
Nat, you've got a question?
Yeah, Susie, sorry.
Yeah.
If you could leave the viewers with one message tonight, what would it be?
Go on to the Heart campaign, which is now Save Torbay Hospital. Follow us, support us, help us with the financial needs that we need to get this situation out in the open, get it get it clarified, and save our hospital. Because once it's gone, it's gone.
So anybody can get involved to support you, am I correct?
Absolutely. As Jack said earlier, we've created the company, Save Torbay Hospital Limited. We've got directors. We've now got ambassadors in every area, nearly every area in the catchment area. Under the ambassadors are volunteers, and under the volunteers there are friends, and the friends are doing coffee mornings, whatever they can do to raise money to help the legal fund to challenge Torbay Hospital to leave it as an acute hospital for the whole of the catchment area.
So I've got a question from Anthony here. They like to move services out of the area. What are they going to put in its place? Sounds to me what they want to change Torbay Hospital. So basically they're going to move it, close it. Are they going to, or just do it like an emergency hospital?
No, it's going to be, from my understanding, it's going to be daycare only. So a minor injuries unit, rather like Newton Abbott. But what either the council or the powers that be in Torbay don't seem to understand, or they don't appear to understand, it's going to affect inward investment, tourism, employment. Nobody will want to come and stay there live there, grow up there, because you won't have a hospital. You possibly won't have any decent employment. because it's a small town at the best of the time, Torquay, and all the other small areas, Stoke Gabriel, Newton Abbot, etc., they're all dependent on tourism as our main gainstay of industry. So if we don't have a good tourism, then we'll revert possibly to a fishing village.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Susie, thank you. Neil?
Yeah, back to Paul again. To be clear, the ICB reported limit is over 25,000 per transaction. 12 million is the total for 1 month. And you've asked about the 200 one, but they can't tell you what they spend it on.
No, they just say they don't hold that information.
Somebody must hold it.
I couldn't agree more, but
Okay,
who?
Paul, that's a mission for you. Dig into it. Susie, we're going to just answer some questions on here. There was a question here from Ian. How many NHOs, which is neighbourhood, it's highways officers per councillor per area, or how many councillor areas per NHO? I think it's one NHO.
One between so many of us. So Neil and myself have one. I share with Neil, so I share Roger. I've got half, he's got half.
Another question, LGR, which we're going to invite Ian on. Big question I've asked is when LGR is implemented, who will own the buildings, real estate in the new council areas? Well, obviously, it's going to be the council who's got that area.
So going back to Ian's question quickly to be more clear. So in my area, Ian, my NHO that is leaving, he also had Clumpton. And so my area is fairly large in a geographical sort of sense, but he also had Clumpton and another area as well that he covered. So that's a lot to learn for one person, and have 2 or 3 councillors sort of feeding him information and asking him a lot of stuff.
Well, I write to mine daily.
So it takes a lot of learning.
Well, there's going to say Nathan has said, and these are the huge respect for your passion to defend your area and your community, and that's to you, Susie.
Thank you.
Huge, and I give you huge respect because
Thank you.
every time I meet you, you're full of knowledge, full of passion, and everybody can see that. So the more people who can support her, the more people who send that message out. Torbay Hospital can be saved, or the parts of it, and it's all about the people, and it's whoever shouts the loudest, and I know you can shout. Jacqueline.
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to the campaign. So each area, wherever you live, in this area, it's going to affect you. Please join the hub in your area. So, for example, if you're in my area of Newton Abbot, please contact me. Get in touch with the ambassadors for the area. Come and join us. Come to our bingo nights. Arrange bingo nights. Arrange cheese and wine or coffee or cream teas, anything you can do to raise funds, because this is what we are going to need to take this forward further. So if they can do it in Huddersfield, let's show the ICB that we can do it in Torbay as well.
Well, that's a brilliant. So let's round it all up. I've got something to say at the end, but we can start whoever wants to take the floor.
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to quickly say something, and I was going through my Facebook the other day, and I came across a site. Now, it was called How to Vote Tactically, How to Keep Reform Out. Now, I don't normally get political, but do people hate us that much? They've got to do websites where they say, don't vote for the party that you would normally vote for, not Reform, but vote for this party, and that will keep Reform out. Now, tactical voting, I mean, what can I say?
You wanted to get that off your chest.
Well, I
didn't
wanted
you?
to get it off my chest because what it is, all you're doing is getting in the party they want you to get in.
Nat.
Well, I think the man sat over there in the quiet seat who's just completed a politics degree would probably tell us how all that works
We'll
and
talk about
why.
him in a minute.
But Susie, it's been lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
And you are a huge knowledge, and not just your area, but the whole of Devon should thank you for raising this, because ultimately it's going to affect everyone in Devon. And there's no question about that. That is going to
We know
happen.
from experience from our father.
So thank you from me and the people that I represent in my area.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm sorry if I appear very passionate about it, but as an ex-cardiothoracic theatre sister, I've seen sort of hideous situations, and I can envisage that it's going to get worse and worse and worse, because if we lose our fantastic staff at Torbay Hospital, we're goners. We're absolute goners. So we've got to fight. And it's no point sitting behind your Facebook and saying, oh, this is terrible, or clapping your hands when I send an FOI out. Just get off your bottoms and help us. Huddersfield did. Huddersfield fought tooth and nail. So come on, Torbay area, Torbay catchment area. Follow us on our Facebook, follow us on our website. There'll be new posters going up, new leaflets going up. Save Torbay Hospital very shortly. So come on, we can do this. If you want your hospital, fight.
And where's Exeter going to find all the extra beds from? Because there aren't enough now, is there?
Right.
Well, no.
So
They're not.
Jacqueline.
I just think no amount of money should be there to, at the loss of a life.
Jacqueline.
Yeah, well, I can speak from experience. I lost my sister because she had cardiac arrest and she was 53. So this is personal to me. I back Susie. I will be there at events to help Susie. But I just want to ask the public to come and join us. I know everybody's busy in their lives, but it could be you that needs this hospital. So you might not need it at the moment, but we don't know what life has in store for us. So sorry to bring it down to that. Susie's very enthusiastic, and I really admire her for it. But we need everybody on board with this. So please come and join us. Come and dig and find out more and help save our hospital. Thank you, Susie.
Okay, so we're going to end this now. We're going to say, Nathan, get hold of us. He wants to be a reform councillor. We're going to have a campaign show, which is going to be political, but it will be, sorry, Susie, because you're neutral, you won't be coming on.
No.
But that's going to be how campaigning in Exeter, because I notice Labour are campaigning, the Greens are getting out. They're pushing messages out. We need a change. We need reform. And we need volunteers. And I've got a young man here called James who will be brought onto the show. He's got a, what did he get? What did you get?
politics degree, wasn't it?
History and politics. So I bow to him. He's the next generation. That is why we are councillors, for this young man to come on the show, tell him why he wants to be a reform councillor or a reform MP. All right, this is the men we are here to support. So that's a look forward to. So all I can say, sorry it goes over, but it's fantastic listening to you, Susie.
Every hospital needs a Susie. In fact, they could do with more like you. If there was 100 like you, everything would be sold.
Well,
Okay,
my concern, that one thing that I said to Susie coming down here, Neil, was who else knows as much about this campaign as Susie?
Exactly.
And I'll hand you back to Rob Sheridan. Thank you for doing this tonight. I know it's been a lot of chit chat tonight and you've been looking at me saying blah, blah, blah. But this is not planned. It's not rehearsed. We just get on with it. And James, I'll talk to you afterwards. Any other councillors or prospective candidates, should I say, anybody, get hold of us. We will point you to the right direction and we'll get you through the process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Neil, for the compliment. And in life, it's not necessarily what happens to you, it's how you respond, somebody told me. Not that I'm perfect at all, but we had a little blip because we lost all the PowerPoint, and we managed to recover that very quickly. So thank you very much, Neil. And just was thinking again, want to echo, in fact, I think Shirley on Facebook made a comment. She echoed what we were saying, is that, Susie, it'd be really great if the hospital would have a little marketing campaign, an event where they invite the public over to see everybody and say, hey, these are our plans. Isn't it great? We're going to make pathology more efficient. Or, we're going to do this, and but it seems like we're just fishing around in the dark.
Dream on.
And again, we are members of a certain party, and we want to make people accountable. We hope every party wants that, and that's really what we want from Torbay Hospital, right, Neil?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming up, and we will invite you again, Susie, for an update the third time, because we want successes.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much indeed. May I just say that at the moment, the pathology department at Torbay Hospital is exemplary. They themselves and what they do are fantastic. It's the building has possibly let them down a bit, but there's no reason why they can't put another porter cab in there and carry on the work that they're doing on site. Why move it 23 miles? Makes no sense.
Your message has been passed. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Well, we're going to cut it loose here, cut you guys loose. And thanks again for joining us. Don't forget, I really like YouTube, Facebook not so much. So jump on YouTube, subscribe to Neil Stevens, his YouTube channel, and hit the notify button so that you get notified every single time we have our little session on Thursday night. And so we're going to leave you tonight, and we'll see you next time. We've got a great show forecast for next week. Thanks again for joining us.
Respect the place that you call home.